This week on Outdoor Bound TV, we join Chris Menard and his wife Andrea from Colfax, Wisconsin, as they travel halfway around the world to the small island country of New Zealand. Now, Chris will be hunting for the majestic red stag with Lethen Valley trophy hunts on the South Island. And later, we drive north to New Zealand's spectacular Roatata Gorge, where Chris attempts to harvest a trophy Himalayan tahr.
There's a fish. We got him. Look at that.
Nice buck.
Did you get that one?
Outdoor Bound TV is brought to you by Colby Chrysler Center. Welcome home to Colby Chrysler. Pro Designs, sign and printing solutions. Canada Outdoor Adventures, professionally outfitted hunting trips from Canada, New Zealand, and beyond.
We'll be back soon with some great red stag hunting from New Zealand right after these messages.
Offering professionally guided, all-inclusive packages, Canada Outdoor Adventures is a U.S.-based company specializing in great hunting adventures in Alberta, British Columbia, New Zealand, and beyond. Whether you're seeking that trophy of a lifetime, planning a hunt for you or your group, or taking your son or daughter on their first adventure, let Canada Outdoor Adventures handle all the details for you. To contact a pro staff member near you, visit our website, Canada Outdoor Adventures, the adventure of a lifetime.
At Colby Chrysler Center, we know that buying a new car is a big deal, so we do our best to make it feel right at home.
We know your time is important, so you won't find any gimmicks or hassles here. Just a great selection and unbeatable prices.
Good looks, a comfortable ride, a Hemi engine, safety, and the ability to haul just about anything. What more could you ask for in a new truck?
Our commitment to you doesn't end with the sale. We are here for you anytime you need us.
At Colby Chrysler, it's all about making you feel at home and ready to hit the road.
Welcome home to Colby Chrysler.
Conceptual design, quality printing, and custom applications. Pro Designs sign and printing solutions. Over 20 years of professional service and experience. Pro Designs in Medford, from original concept to finished product. Get the recognition your business deserves. Pro Designs sign and printing solutions.
Hi everyone, welcome to Outdoor Bound TV. I'm your host, Kurt Walbeck. On this week's show, we head back to the South Island of New Zealand with Colfax's Chris Menard. Now, Chris has gone to the South Island of New Zealand after red stag. Now, on the first morning of his hunt, he gets a little bit of a surprise on the mountain. Let's meet up with Chris right now.
Hi, I'm Chris Menard from Colfax, Wisconsin. I got started in hunting back when I was 12 years old. My stepfather took me out gun deer hunting. Did that for a few years with my stepfather. Had an uncle took me out hunting a little bit. Kind of self-taught hunting over the years. I had people take me out when I was about 14, 15. And I kind of started hunting on my own when I was like 16, 17 years old, me and another friend. And I really just loved the outdoors. I've always, once I got into hunting a little bit, really enjoyed the outdoors and hunting. And fishing is somewhat, but I'm more of a hunter than a fisherman. You know, I'll go do a little fishing, but I love my hunting. My wife and I have owned property out here in Colfax since about the mid-90s. It's primarily been hunting property for us over the years. We've had a lot of food plots going on, a lot of wild turkeys out here, a lot of deer. We both just love the hunts. We decided to build our house here last year, and we're just finishing up the house now. So now we're living out here full time. And I have more time for my food plots, more time to shed hunt, more time to find some more turkeys, more time to figure out where the deer are. So I'm just very excited about my new move here out in the country. I lived on Lake Wissota for probably about 10 years before that, and was more into fishing probably a little bit then. But now I'm back into my hunting, which is my real true passion. I have several food plots out here that I manage every year, and I'm out there with my tractor tilling them up and planting them and putting down the lime and doing all the stuff you got to do for that in the spring. And I moved right on to turkey hunting. I'm a passionate turkey hunter. Just love it out here in the hills of the turkeys here in Goblin. We had some gobbling here earlier this morning. That I love waking up in the morning and be able to hear the turkeys in the morning. That's a neat deal. This property I have about 100 acres I lease out to a farmer that it depends on what he's planting this year. This year he's gonna plant beans, I guess, but last year was corn. He kind of rotates the crops, which, you know, is good for the land, and it's also good for my turkey, my deer hunting. You know, with a little corn and little soybeans around, that sure keeps the deer around the area. Living here in country has really allowed me to pursue my passion for the outdoors quite a bit more. Me and my wife, you know, we got our own shooting range now, right outside the garage here. You know, it's giving me a lot more time for hanging my stands, a lot more time for just listening to the birds. You know, it's real nice out here. It's real peaceful. I don't know how many stands I have at a property, but, you know, I'm probably gonna tomorrow hang some more. Because I'm always hanging the stand. There's always a new spot I find a big buck or think he's gonna be at. Our trip to New Zealand came about after we went to bear hunting up in Canada with Canada Outdoor Adventures. Started talking to guys up there a little bit about their New Zealand stuff, and I always wanted to go to New Zealand. I heard it was a beautiful country. So we decided, all right, let's do it. So the next year we booked for New Zealand, and sure enough, there we went. You know, I always wanted to go hunt red stags. New Zealand was definitely on my bucket list. I really didn't know what to expect when I went to New Zealand, to be honest with you. I seen some TV shows. They showed people shooting some red stags, and, you know, it looked like a neat place to go. But I honestly did not know what to expect. My wife and I landed in Queenstown. We were met by the people from Meath Valley that took us to camp there. It was about a 2.5 hour ride to camp across some very, very pretty country. We arrived at a lodge. It was much nicer than I was expecting. The pictures do it justice on TV. Me and my wife we had a very nice suite of our own. The first night we were there, I was off. I put my bags in a room, and within an hour, I was in my hunting clothes, and I was out at the range ready to go hunt. We shot our rifles quick, and we were out hunting that night. The first morning of our hunt, my wife, Andrea, Ollie, my guide, and myself went out hunting red stags first thing in the morning. The area right around Letha Valley Lodge is a lot more foothills. Big, you know, foothills is what they would call them. They're still pretty big from a guy from Wisconsin. They're big hills. We're doing some glassing. We come across this giant red stag. It's quite a ways away from us, a few hills over. So we just figure out the plan on which is the best way to make a stalk on him. And we decided we have to go around the hill because he's going to catch if we go across the top. So we start going down in the first valley we're at, and there's some brushy stuff down there. I don't know what they call it in New Zealand, what the grass is, but there's some brushy stuff, and we come, lo and behold, there's 6 fallow deer with one big dandy in the back we come across. Well, the other thing on my list to hunt in New Zealand is fallow deer, so we take advantage of the situation and do a stalk on that fallow. Go back up the hill a little bit, kind of do a little stalk around where we figured they'd come out through the opening, and sure enough, they come through the opening, and, you know, the big one's in the back. Bang, 8 o'clock in the morning, I got a giant fallow deer down my first day in New Zealand, and I'm still on a red stag hunt. He's quit moving now, I think. Oh, one more little kick. Awesome. Yeah, that was lit. Beautiful. That is beautiful. That's wild though. You know, going on the big stag stalk, we come across this thing, you know.
Oh, awesome.
Very awesome.
Yep, Chris and I started out on a stalk after a stag this morning. Trying to do a wide old loop, get round and get the drop on them. But halfway there came across this group of fallow, and as Chris said, we'd sort of passed a few up last night. And the good Lord looked over us and gave us this great fallow deer. And no, we're both pretty chuffed, pretty happy as we say. So here it is, 8 o'clock, first day. I already got a giant fallow deer down, but we're still after that big red stag we saw. So, you know, off we go again. We hike back up the top of the mountain. You know, they'd start glassing again, looking for that red stag we saw earlier, because, you know, he was a dandy. We wanted to get him.
We flew from Minneapolis to LA, over to Queenstown, or over to Auckland, and then took another plane to Queenstown to get here. Long flight, but now that I'm here, it certainly was worth it. It's a gorgeous country. We're sitting here on the side of a hill right now, kind of enjoying the view, looking for red stags. It doesn't get much better than this. It's just a gorgeous country. I recommend anybody coming down here. It's just, if you're a hunter, you should be here at least once in your lifetime. Just shot a nice fallow here not too long ago, and we're just sitting here looking to find that beautiful stag I'm looking for. We've seen a few, but they're pretty flighty this morning. They keep running off on us, but we're hoping we're going to sit here for a while and enjoy the view if nothing else, and hoping we'll be seeing a stag sneaking through here at some point. So we're glassed on top of the hill, and lo and behold, sure enough, 2 hills over, we see just a speck of antler. So sure enough, we're on it. We're going. You know, we have to go across 2 hills to get over to get a shot close to getting to them. And so we work our way over there. It takes us a while up and down the hill, and finally get to set up to a fence post where I can get a shot. It's a piece of sheep fence that's low. And then the suspense starts. He's sitting there. He will not stand up. I don't know how long it was. It was 20 minutes, half hour, 10 minutes. I don't know. It seemed like forever to me, sitting there holding my gun up. Finally, he stands up. Then he won't give me a broadside shot, of course. Finally turns, starts heading up the hill, gives me enough of a broadside shot.
There, I got him. Oh, he's down. He's down.
Hi, this is Chris Menard again from Wisconsin. I just shot my red stag we were after. He made me earn it. He sat there laid down in his bed for quite a while up on the hill there. And by the time I was sitting on a fence post, leaned off, and I don't know how long it was. It seemed like a half hour to me, but I'm sure it was 5 minutes probably. But my knee was going down, my leg was going down. He wouldn't stand up, would not stand up. All I could see was a giant set of horns sticking out of the bush. And so finally moved on a few more fence posts, and he stood up, and then he looked right at me for another, what seemed like an eternity. I didn't have a shot, all I could see was his head. And then finally, he takes a couple steps to the left there. And I thought it was steady, but I missed my first shot. So he ran a little bit more, looked back at me again, which was his fatal mistake, and I hit him that time. And then he ran a little bit more, so I hit him again. And then he fell over, and he's laying up right up there somewhere. Here it is now, where it's about noon, and I got a fallow deer and the giant red stag down. First full day in New Zealand is looking pretty good, 2 big critters down before lunch is a pretty good day. We worked our way up to where he went down. I mean, I know he's laying there, he was definitely dead. So we walk up, we get up to him, and I finally get my hands on those horns. I knew he was big, but I had no idea he was that big until I actually tried to pick up his head. Ah! Woo! He's very nice. Look how gray he is. That is a beast and a half.
I love the doubles.
Oh yeah, I go and get my fingers around halfway.
Oh my gosh.
And the weight of just those horns was unbelievable. They were so thick I could only get my hand about halfway around, the main beam. you know, it was just, I've never seen anything like that. You know, it's 440 inches of, you know, the antlers, that's just huge. It's just undescribably big. The main reason we went to New Zealand is that we both wanted to hunt red stags badly. I've always wanted to shoot a red stag. Ever since I seen the first picture of red stag, like, yeah, I wanted to shoot one of those. They're so majestic critters. Did I think I was going to shoot something quite that big when I went to New Zealand? No, I did not think I was going to shoot something quite that big when I went to New Zealand. You know, like, it was twice the size I thought I was going to shoot for a red stag in New Zealand. But you know, it was just as majestic of a critter as I, you know, ever thought it was. It definitely lived up to its the hype in my mind, at least. The South Island, New Zealand, is the place to be. Lethe Valley is the guys to go with, and you can't always forget Canada Outdoor Adventures. They're the ones that set up the trip. It's been just fun. Nice people, great accommodations, and you can shoot stuff like this. And what else can you ask for? He would not get out of his bed. He was happy where he was, and he wasn't getting up. We saw him earlier sneak back down the hill from, I don't know, way over that way. And so we kind of come over here, did a stalk on him, and just could see the horn sticking out of this tuffet grass here. Sat there for an eternity waiting for him to get up. He finally got up, and he sat there and looked at me, so I could have a nice broadside shot. That seemed like another eternity till he turned. And I finally got a shot. And I ended up hitting him a couple times here. He went down, and here we are on the side of the hill with the most horn I ever shot at one time. Couldn't be happier. It's a great place.
Hey Chris, congratulations on a great fallow deer and an awesome stag. That was a great hunt. Now folks, don't go away, because just after these messages we're going to head back to the South Island of New Zealand, because Chris is going to be going after the Himalayan Tahr. Now the Tahr live high in the mountains of the South Island, so this is going to be an awesome hunt. We'll see you right after these messages.
At Colby Crisis Center, we know that buying a new car is a big deal, so we do our best to make it feel right at home.
We know your time is important, so you won't find any gimmicks or hassles here. Just a great selection and unbeatable prices.
Good looks, a comfortable ride, a Hemi engine, safety, and the ability to haul just about anything. What more could you ask for in a new truck?
Our commitment to you doesn't end with the sale. We are here for you anytime you need us.
At Colby Chrysler, it's all about making you feel at home and ready to hit the road.
Welcome home to Colby Chrysler.
Conceptual design, quality printing, and custom applications. Pro Design's sign and printing solutions. Over 20 years of professional service and experience. Pro Designs in Medford, from original concept to finished product. Get the recognition your business deserves. Pro Designs, sign and printing solutions. Offering professionally guided, all-inclusive packages, Canada Outdoor Adventures is a US-based company specializing in great hunting adventures in Alberta, British Columbia, New Zealand, and beyond. Whether you're seeking that trophy of a lifetime, planning a hunt for you or your group, or taking your son or daughter on their first adventure, let Canada Outdoor Adventures handle all the details for you. To contact a pro staff member near you, visit our website, Canada Outdoor Adventures, the adventure of a lifetime.
The second part of our trip was to hunt Himalayan Tahr, which are in a lot more rugged terrain than the red stags and fallow deer are. It's very mountainous where that. We had to travel about 6 hours north from Lethe Valley up to the north end of the South Island. Before I booked my trip to New Zealand, I'd never heard of a Himalayan Tahr before in my life. Didn't really know what they were. Now after looking at them, I was kind of told they're a mountain goat, and they lived in some pretty steep terrain, and they're a lot like our goats back in the States, which I've never hunted either. The unique thing about a Himalayan Tahr is really probably more its hair and its mane more than the horn size. Tahr live where nothing else wants to live. I mean, they're like a mountain goat back in the States here. They like the steep stuff, and the trip up the mountain to get to them was interesting enough in the truck. I'm not real scared of heights, but it was a long ways down. You look out the truck window, it was about 6 inches between the tire and the edge of edge of the cliff in a few spots in that road. My poor wife was sitting in the back seat. She couldn't even look up. That road probably brought us 3/4 of the way up the mountain, and we had to walk up the rest of the way from there. Very, like I said, very rugged, very, very rugged area. We decided just to sit back, let the, wait for the sun to come up, and so we could do a little glassing from that spot. And I have to say, it was one of the prettiest sunrises I've ever seen. It was gorgeous coming up over the mountains there.
This is day 5. I lost my New Zealand hunt here. We're at Tahr camp. Almost at top of a pretty steep mountain here. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. We're up looking for Tahr. Right now we're doing a little glassing, just kind of checking it out. It's a real pretty scene here. Hopefully we'll find some Tahr up here when it gets a little lighter up above. We're just kind of sitting here quietly, see if we can find one of these side hills here. But man, this place is beautiful, unbelievable.
When the sun started coming up, one of the neatest things I saw was the clouds coming up through the valley from the ocean. They were literally above the clouds where we were at. We're so high up, and they were literally below us, and it kind of was neat. It just snaked up through the valley, and it was just beautiful. It just made just a beautiful scenery you ever seen. Ollie and myself are glassing, looking for some Tahr. Decide we got to move up the mountain a little farther to get up on the other side so we can see the other side, because there isn't any Tahr on the side where we're sitting at the time. We're sitting on the knob we're on, glass, and we know the Tahr right below us. We know they're there. And we're sitting there waiting, and pretty soon over the next little rock cropping next to us comes up, the kids and the nannies come up the hill. And they come up, they kind of mingle on top of the rocks and kind of look around and eat and kind of whatever they're going to do, kind of wander off. And pretty soon here comes the smaller bulls up the hill. And they kind of sit up there on top. I don't know, there's 3 or 4 of them. They wander, they kind of do a little eating, they looking around, and they take off, and it was like, where's the bulls? We saw, we knew there was 2 big bulls in this group. We're sitting there waiting, and I'm getting a little impatient, and Ollie's like, no, just sit tight, we're gonna stay here, and they'll be up. And sure enough, there they come. They came up the hill. As soon as I had an opportunity, they were kind of moving. It looked like to me they were moving pretty fast, so I took a shot, dropped him right on that rock cropping. He was down, his head was still up, but Ollie making sure that he's dead and didn't want to have to go drag him down that big ravine that he was below, off the rock crop there. Told me to shoot again. So I shot him again and dumped him hard there, and then he pinned him right to that rock. If he would have gone off that rock, it would have been about 2,000 feet down, and one heck of a day getting him out of there. So we're very happy we got him on top of that rock outcrop, and that would have been a lot more work to the deal.
Outdoor Bound TV is brought to you by Colby Chrysler Center. Welcome home to Colby Chrysler. Pro Designs, sign and printing solutions. Canada Outdoor Adventures, professionally outfitted hunting trips from Canada, New Zealand, and beyond.
For my wife and I, this is our first trip outside of North America hunting. I didn't know really what to expect when you get that far away from home. It's about as far away as you can get is New Zealand from Wisconsin. One of the biggest things I noticed about New Zealand is the people there are extremely friendly and extremely nice.
Don't tell Chris I bought more cable.
The beautiful country, everything else, but probably the people of New Zealand has probably made the biggest impression on me in a positive way. It is a gorgeous country. They invite you with open arms. You know, we couldn't have been, you know, we'll probably go back there someday just because we had so much fun. It was such a neat country. That's probably my one regret I had, is that we spent our whole time hunting. We could have maybe took a couple days and just went on tour there, because it's such a neat place. You know, we went to Wanaka one day, and I wish I could have had 5 days in Wanaka just to see the sights. If you're somebody that hasn't really been out of the States and a little bit worried about going somewhere that's exotic, well, it's an exotic country with pretty down-to-earth, English-speaking, you know, nice people that, you know, treat you with open arms there. And they're a very nice place and very accommodating. And it wasn't just at Letha Valley. It seemed like you go to the grocery store and they were nice too. I mean, they're just nice people there. If you're looking for a great place outside North America to hunt, especially if you're gonna bring your wife or something like that, New Zealand is definitely a great place to start.
You know, folks, if you'd like to experience New Zealand for yourself, you're in luck. Every year, Outdoor Bound TV, in conjunction with Canada Outdoor Adventures, sponsors a trip to the South Island of New Zealand, where for 8 days and 8 nights you get to experience some of the culture and splendor that New Zealand has to offer, and also have the opportunity to harvest a trophy of a lifetime.
Join Outdoor Bound TV's host Kurt Walbeck as we tour the beautiful South Island of New Zealand. Guests on this trip of a lifetime will enjoy 4 days and 4 nights at the lovely Lethen Valley Lodge, with private suites, gourmet food, and spectacular scenery surrounding this private hunting preserve nestled in the foothills of New Zealand's South Island. Guests will also have the opportunity to hunt for the majestic red stag, fallow deer, Arapara sheep, and New Zealand wild goat. Daily shopping excursions, nature tours, trout fishing, and sightseeing are also available. We will then make our way north past Mount Cook to the beautiful city of Wanaka for 3 days and 3 nights at the luxurious Wanaka Bed and Breakfasts, where guests can take in the sun at the private pool. Enjoy winery and shopping tours along the lakefront district in downtown Wanaka, or hunt for Himalayan tahr and chamois in the surrounding peaks of the Roatata Gorge. Airfare, ground transportation, meals, and all accommodations are included in this trip to the South Island of New Zealand. Log on to the Outdoor Bound TV website for more details on this incredible trip of a lifetime.
You know, Chris and I have had the opportunity to hunt together quite a bit over the years, but I don't think I can ever remember a time when he's harvested one animal in the morning, another one in the afternoon, and then another one the very next day. Chris, congratulations on a great hunt in New Zealand. That was a lot of fun. Folks, join us again here next week when we'll bring you more great hunting and fishing action from around Wisconsin, around the nation, and around the world, right here on Outdoor Bound TV.
Trying to think how to start now again.
I'm about as ready as I'll ever be, being Mr. Not TV guy.
Just keep screwing that up. I can't get my next thought in my head, is my problem. All right, first, okay. Trying to think how to start now again. No pressure.
Easy.
Easy, no problem.
Righty-ho.
Let's just do that over.
I screwed it up, did I?
And there's going to be a couple of cold fizzies go down tonight, I'd say.
What part did you get? Did you think you can use?
Right here.